going to finish up civil rights by looking at equal rights when it comes to women and gays. So to start with women, the 19th Amendment was really the groundbreaking moment when it was ratified, which extended the right to vote for women. So it always kind of makes me think back to our founding documents where all men are created equal was written, and really we should now go back and probably put an asterisk next to the word men, because we have seen that it's going to take arguably until the 1960s where really all men are created equal in terms of getting to exercise civil rights. Okay, there was another significant Supreme Court case in 1971, Reed versus Reed, where the court ruled against arbitrary gender-based discrimination as a violation of the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause. So essentially what happened in this case, the Reeds were a married couple who had a child who passed away. And the courts essentially, through an arbitrary basis, appointed the father, the man, the executor of the child's estate. And the Supreme Court ruled that arbitrarily choosing an executor of estate or a power of attorney simply based on sex was unconstitutional. And then lastly, when it comes to women and equal rights, Title IX was another huge landmark for women. This was passed in 1974 and essentially extended equality for opportunities for women in schools, particularly in athletics at the collegiate level. And so as a little side note, I definitely am a recipient of Title IX. I was able to attend the University of San Diego expense-free because of the full ride basketball scholarship that I was able to receive. And prior to 1974, scholarships for women in terms of athletics essentially did not exist. And so it's been a long time in the making, but Title IX definitely has its benefits. I am living proof of that. But like other congressional acts before it, it definitely does not come without criticism. There have been cases where some universities have had to cut male sports programs to provide equal opportunity for female sports programs. And female sports programs on the whole are definitely less revenue producing than men's sports. And so there have been arguments that Title IX in some cases has actually created reverse discrimination. Similarly to cases that have been made arguing that affirmative action programs that give priority or extra consideration to race, minority groups, is also unconstitutional. So congressional acts are hardly ever ratified without having both advocacy and criticism, and Title IX is no exceptions. All right, our last one that we're going to talk about with equal or civil rights has to do with gay rights. So looking at the congressional history, this is actually one of the relatively newer topics to go through different congressional acts. So DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act, was actually passed by a Republican-controlled Congress and signed by the Democratic Bill Clinton. And essentially what it said is the federal government would only recognize marriage as that between a man and a woman. And in class, I definitely hope to have a discussion more about what government recognition of a marriage means in terms of rights. So not to get opinions on the moral or ethical arguments of marriage, but rather to look at what does the government recognition mean for all couples. Next in the 1990s, or actually early 2000s, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was an act passed by Congress that essentially allowed the military to allow gays to enlist and fight in the military. However, the military would not ask soldiers if they were gay, nor could the soldiers disclose that they were gay. And if a soldier opted to come out and announce his or her homosexuality, that was putting themselves in a position where they could be removed from the military. And then lastly, when we look at close to home in California, in 2008, there was a ballot initiative, Proposition 8, that would ban same-sex marriage in the state of California. And essentially, since its passing, it has been challenged in the Supreme Court based on the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause, which provides and protects the law for all citizens. And it still is very much being debated, analyzed, scrutinized. And what's interesting about Proposition 8 is there was a time period before Proposition 8 where same-sex marriage was allowed. And then Proposition 8 was passed. And so it was actually really interesting because there was this period of time where there were couples who had received marriage license, Proposition 8 was passed, and so now what do you do with them ex post facto, meaning after the fact? Should their marriages that at the time were legally granted be recognized, or does Proposition 8 go back and essentially erase any marriages that have been recognized? And those situations as well have still been examined by courts even to present time.
You're right.